The 9 worst generals in history. Great generals like Alexander, Napoleon, and Rommel are remembered for their battlefield brilliance, but sometimes the best way to understand military genius is through contrast. These 9 commanders serve as stark reminders of how poor leadership can spell disaster on a grand scale. 1. Quintus Servilius Caepio. While Roman history has no shortage of military blunders, Caepio stands out for sheer recklessness. In 105 BCE, during the Cimbrian War, he refused to cooperate with his superior, Gnaeus Mallius Maximus, and independently attacked the Cimbri. His insubordination led to catastrophic defeat at the Battle of Arausio, where up to 120,000 Roman troops perished, a loss even more staggering than at Cannae. Caepio escaped unscathed but was exiled and stripped of citizenship. Adding insult to injury, he was likely involved in the mysterious disappearance of 15,000 talents of gold, the gold of Tolosa. A terrible general, but apparently an excellent thief. 2. Gideon Pillow. During the U.S. Civil War, the Confederacy had its share of inept commanders, but Gideon Pillow may have been the worst. Starting in the Mexican-American War, he bungled key actions, lied about his accomplishments, and even tried to smuggle a cannon home in his luggage, earning him a court-martial that President Polk personally quashed. During the Civil War, he blew a chance to break Union lines at Fort Donelson and fled, leaving behind 15,000 men to surrender. Grant's victory there opened the way for the Union to advance deep into Confederate territory. Pillow's career is a textbook case in how political favoritism can lead to military disaster. 3. Francisco Solano Lopez. As Paraguay's president, Lopez managed to embroil his small nation in a war against Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, a suicidal move. The War of the Triple Alliance, 1864-70, devastated Paraguay, wiping out a significant portion of its population, including nearly all its military-age men. Lopez executed his own family members in paranoid purges and refused to surrender until he was finally killed in battle. He left behind a shattered nation and one of the most lopsided wars in modern history. 4. Douglas Haig. In World War I, few generals were as inflexible or as costly as Britain's Douglas Haig. He clung to outdated tactics in the face of machine guns and artillery, sending wave after wave of troops into slaughter. At the Somme, British forces suffered 60,000 casualties on the first day alone. Haig repeated the same mistake at Passchendaele, losing another 275,000 men. Though he later helped win the war, his name became synonymous with the phrase, lions led by donkeys. 5. Erich Ludendorff. Ludendorff helped win early victories for Germany in WWI, but his strategic missteps ultimately doomed his country. He modified the Schlieffen Plan, botched Germany's Western offensive, and insisted on unrestricted submarine warfare, bringing the U.S. into the conflict. Later, he launched a desperate series of offensives in 1918 without a coherent long-term plan. Post-war, he helped spread the myth that Germany had been stabbed in the back, undermining the Weimar Republic and laying ideological groundwork for Hitler. Ludendorff's legacy is one of tactical brilliance undone by strategic blindness. 6. George McClellan. McClellan was a brilliant organizer, but a terrible battlefield leader. As Union general during the Civil War, he consistently overestimated enemy numbers and hesitated to fight. His Peninsular campaign stalled despite overwhelming numbers, and at Antietam, his failure to pursue a retreating Confederate army extended the war. President Lincoln famously referred to McClellan's condition as the slows. Though respected by his men, McClellan's refusal to act decisively squandered critical opportunities to end the conflict sooner. 7. Pierre de Villeneuve. Villeneuve, a French admiral, holds the rare distinction of derailing Napoleon's invasion plans by sheer incompetence. After fleeing the Battle of the Nile, he was placed in command of the French fleet and tasked with luring Nelson to the Caribbean, then slipping back to the Channel. Instead, he defied orders, went to Cadiz, and provoked the Battle of Trafalgar. The result? 20 French ships lost and British naval supremacy secured for the next century. Villeneuve was captured again, released, and died by suicide before he could face Napoleon. 8. Antonio López de Santa Anna won at the Alamo, but his legacy is one of opportunism and betrayal. Captured at San Jacinto, he made deals with the U.S., returned to Mexico, betrayed those deals, and repeated the cycle for decades. He switched sides during the Mexican-American War, lost nearly every major engagement, and even offered his services to both Emperor Maximilian and his opponents. No one trusted him anymore, and for good reason. 9. William Hull holds the dubious honor of being the only U.S. general sentenced to death for cowardice. During the War of 1812, his failure to act against British General Isaac Brock and the brilliant Shawnee leader Tecumseh led to the surrender of Fort Detroit, without a shot fired. Convinced he was hopelessly outnumbered, Hull gave up 2,000 troops, a fort, a warship, and control of the Michigan Territory. He was court-martialed and sentenced to die, though President Madison commuted his sentence. Conclusion. History tends to glorify military success, but for every brilliant tactician, there's a general whose poor judgment, vanity, or outright cowardice cost lives and altered the course of nations. These 9 stand as lasting examples of how not to lead.